Thanks for checking out this horror debate series video. So this one we're going to cover the top 10 ranked worst pieces of Halloween candy. Now, for people who don't know how it works, you watch my video, you get all my justifications and my rankings. Then you go over to your friendly neighborhood Uncle Pete's channel, which is linked in the description. Watch his video of the same name, get his justifications, his picks, all that stuff. Then you can feel free to come back to my channel, go to the community tab, and vote on who you thought had the best list or the best justifications, or however you want to do it. There's also an option for tying. So we decided to do this, and then in 2 weeks from dropping this video, we're also going to do one that is the top 10 ranked best pieces of Halloween candy in our opinions. But obviously we want to do it because it's October, and we want people to, experience something extra fun for this horror debate series. And I will say that Halloween candy is something that's always been special to me because obviously Halloween's my favorite holiday and it always has been. And I just remember having such a great time with friends, running around the neighborhood, getting candy from all these houses and then coming home, dumping it all out and just taking stock of your loot and just getting excited about it. So, starting off with the worst. So let's go ahead and get into it. Oh, and side note, I had been planning on potentially eating a piece of each of them to kind of like reevaluate while I'm giving my rankings. I'm doing that a little bit. For this video, I'm only going to actually eat one piece because I was like, I don't want to buy a bunch of this candy that I don't like. It just so happens that I already got my mix of candy to hand out this year, and there was one of the worst pieces in it. For me personally, so I can do that. So that's actually going to be my number 10 worst piece of candy. But also know for when I do the best, I have a lot more. I think it's like half of them I actually have to try. But anyway, let's start. My number 10 on the ranked list is going to be Three Musketeers. Yes, I do know people who like Three Musketeers. I understand the appeal of it because it's basically just chocolate on the outside and like a chocolate, like creamy, nougaty thing on the inside. It's like airy and stuff. Well, I mean, I might as well eat it right now. So it has been a while since I've had a Three Musketeers. I remember mainly not liking it, and the reason that it's on this list at number 10 is that there are so many other candy bars that you can be giving away that are so much more interesting and exciting and people enjoy. It's just Three Musketeers. It's like chocolate on chocolate. And if people want that, there are so many other options for it. But that's not the interesting stuff, like have a candy bar that's chocolate with something, Snickers, even Milky Way. Milky Way is like broke Snickers. Well, it's Snickers without the peanuts, but even Milky Way is better than Three Musketeers because it's doing something. It just feels lazy is my point. So anyway, I'm going to try it. I mean, the chocolate smells solid. I mean, yeah. Is it offensive? Like some of the picks on my list? No. Is it just chocolate on chocolate? Yeah. It's just very underwhelming. It's just one note. It's one note. I would never choose to eat this. So that's why I think it's a terrible piece of Halloween candy. Because Halloween candy should be exciting. And Three Musketeers is not exciting. So that's my pick for number 10. So for number 9, I'm going with another very unexciting. Actually, a lot of these are unexciting or just taste like crap. Number 9 is also very unexciting, and that is Tootsie Roll. And I mean, it's kind of like real gummy, real waxy. Again, just like this Three Musketeers. It just tastes like chocolate. I mean, it's such a simplistic thing. If you're going to give out anything like Tootsie Roll, give out the Tootsie Roll Pops. Because then you're getting some really nice flavor on the outside, and then you can have the disappointing, crappy Tootsie Roll on the inside. Just my thoughts on it. So that's why Tootsie Rolls, straight up Tootsie Rolls, not the flavored ones, because I know that's a separate thing. Tootsie Rolls are my number 9. So going to number 8, one that I know a lot of people would agree with, Raisinets. Now, the main reason I put them on there, I don't think they necessarily taste terrible, because they're literally raisins with milk chocolate on them. But they're a terrible Halloween candy because what kids want fruit, specifically raisins, that are some of the most reviled, if that's a word, I think it is, reviled fruits on the planet for kids. Well, depending on the kid, but a lot of kids. chocolate covered raisins. I mean, it's just something that kids don't get excited about. It's trying to give kids fruit with chocolate on top of it. It feels like a trick. And that's the way I've always felt about it. It's not the treat, it's the trick. Where they're just like, oh, there's chocolate, but then under that is raisins. You're just like, this is not exciting. This is not what Halloween is about, basically. It's just about getting a bunch of tasty junk that's not good for you. And the raisins in Raisinets are good for you. So that's why it's my number 8. Next, going to number 7, this is a 2-flavor note candy, Whoppers. Whoppers are terrible because it's chocolate on the outside and then it's like that really hard, horrible consistency malt on the inside. Now, malt's not a terrible flavor and chocolate's not a terrible flavor, but together it's just not that exciting. Also, the texture is awful and they're pretty hard. Malted milk balls are pretty hard and that texture is horrendously bad. For me personally, it's like fingernails on a chalkboard type texture. Really not a fan of that one. So that's why I put Whoppers as my number 7. Now I'm going to number 6, plain Hershey's chocolate bar. Again, this is another one of these where there are a bunch of other chocolate bars by Hershey's that are way more exciting. They have stuff in them. You know, you even get Crackle or Mr. Good Bar, something like that. Plain Hershey's chocolate, it's just straight up chocolate. It's worse than the Three Musketeers by far because the chocolate that Hershey's typically uses is gross. It tastes chemically. It's got this like butyric acid taste to it that's really artificial and disgusting. And you can make it taste fine if you have other good ingredients with it. So to just take a really bad chocolate, probably the worst chocolate on the market in my opinion, and package it as just that, and like, here's our disgusting chocolate to try with no other ingredients. It's just disgusting. It's a terrible idea. So that's why number 6 is plain Hershey's bar. Number 5, Good and Plenties. Now this is one that my dad actually has always liked, and he was there to save me if anyone gave them to me when I was trick-or-treating. He was like, I'll take the Good and Plenties. I'm like, perfect. I would rather had the Mike and Ike's. Now the Mike and Ike's are shaped a lot like the Good and Plenties. They're by the same company, but they have different flavors of fruits. They're vibrant. They actually taste pretty good. Good and Plenties, you get 2 colors. You get purple and you get white, and they both taste like black licorice. Okay, I understand, there are people who like black licorice. I hate black licorice, which is why this is so high on my list. But on top of that, even if you like black licorice, it presents like you have variety, or at least 2 different things in there when it's just the same thing. It's trickery, in my opinion, and I don't appreciate it. I hate Good and Plenties. So that's my number 5. My number 4, Dots. Dots are terrible because they should be good based off what they look like. They're literally gumdrops of different colors. So you're like, oh, sweet. So we're going to get like a lime, we're going to get a cherry, we're going to get an orange. No. They pretty much all just taste like gummy sugar. That's basically it. They're almost flavorless. The other thing is they tend to get really hard to the point that they're not so much gummy. It's like this state in between gummy and solid, and really can do a number on your jaw. So Dots, really, really awful. I've always hated those. So that's why it's in my number 4. Now, number 3, Candy Buttons. Now, I know some people may be saying, I've never seen anyone give out candy buttons. I actually have, and it's such a terrible idea. I don't know why you would do it. I don't even know why these things exist. It's literally a sheet of paper with these very small dots that are about the size of eraser tips of literally just like colored sugar. They don't have flavors. They'll have different colors, but again, just like the dots, there's really no other flavor, also like the Good and Plenties. And it's just deceptive because it looks kind of interesting, and you're like, oh, there's different colors. No, it just all tastes like straight chocolate. And from a textural standpoint, or I said straight chocolate, straight sugar is what I meant. And from a textural standpoint, that's what it tastes like. You're just like solidified sugar. It's not good. Pretty terrible. Plus the paper that it's on is just such a waste. That's why it's my number 3. Now, number 2, candy corn. I'm sorry to my coworker, Mark. Mark, I know you're a big fan of candy corn. You love it. Good for you. Most people hate it, including me. I really hate it. It is not only low flavor, it's got like a bit of like a mapley flavor to it, basically. It's a little maple syrupy, but it's heavy on tasting, primarily just like sugar, by the way. Man, my throat's getting dry. Stupid Three Musketeers. But it's primarily just a sugar flavor with a little bit of like a maple syrup that comes after it. But one of the problems is it's so waxy. They are so waxy. It's literally like eating those. If people remember when you get those wax like fake vampire teeth, those were fun. But then if you chewed them, not so much fun. And that's kind of what candy corn reminds me of, but just with a little bit of gross flavor to it. And then that leads me to my number one. People are probably thinking at this point, what could this even be? Necco wafers. Necco wafers are unbelievably disgusting. They look like sweet tarts, like really thin sweet tarts. They have different colors, once again, but they all taste the same, and they all basically have this like chalky menthol taste. And they're also chalky consistency-wise. I have no idea why these things exist. I know these are old pieces of candy that have just kind of stuck around, but who is buying these things? Necco wafers, straight up disgusting. They have very little flavor, and the texture is just horrendous. So that's it. That's my number one, Necco wafers. I've always had a very passionate hate for them, and there you can see it. I feel like now I should just like finish Three Musketeers. I did it. I did it, everyone. I mean, again, I will admit, I can see where some people would like this. It's just like chocolate, but if you want to eat just chocolate, I would actually recommend just getting like Lindt, Lindt, because they actually have, in my opinion, the best like mass-produced chocolate out there. Straight up chocolate flavor-wise, but yeah. Just, where's the variety, man? Anyway, that's my thought. I would love to hear your top 10s. Go ahead and put it down in the comments. Also, you can put that in the comments on Uncle Pete's. Do us both a favor. Hit subscribe to both of our channels. We'd really appreciate that. Hit the notification bell button. Hit the likes for us. That would be really, really awesome. But definitely comment. Let us know your choices for what you do and don't like for Halloween candy. And then, yeah, in 2 weeks, like I said, we'll have our top 10, which I'm way more excited for that, obviously. But thanks, everyone, for taking your time to check this out. And until next time, keep it brutal.